If you have a prepared speech, first I'd just like to say one of the cardinal rules of show business is you never follow an act bigger than yours. I think I failed spectacularly today. We'll all agree. But it is a true honor to be in the presence of you survivors today, as well as everybody else in the hall. These men and women remind us through their experience in the camps that men are capable of profound evil. But through their lives after the horrors of the Shoah, as we've heard here today, they show us that mankind is also capable of great compassion and forgiveness. I'm Colonel Andre Briere. I'm the Vice Commander of MacDill Air Force Base, and I'm here representing the men and women, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who serve right here at MacDill, and I bring their thoughts and prayers with me today as well. Each year on the 27th, as we've heard, the world comes together to celebrate the most barbaric crime in human history. We recall the 6 million Jews and millions of other innocent victims who were murdered by the Nazi Party, not because of anything they had done, but because of who they were and what they believed. We mourn lives cut short and communities torn apart. They will always be in our memories, they will always be in our thoughts, and they will always be in our prayers. For the United States Armed Services, these events are not a distant memory. Our modern military was forged in the crucible of World War II and the fight against the Axis powers. And while I'm here representing the armed forces today, I also stand before you, as many of you, as a first-generation son of Europe. Those of us from Europe feel an even closer connection and more acute horror that these crimes were committed among and sometimes by our fathers and grandfathers. But for those of us who are Americans, and particularly those who have served in the military, we feel a visceral pride in our role in liberating these camps and punishing the perpetrators. Today we proudly carry forward the legacy of the soldiers and airmen who liberated Buchenwald on the 11th of April 1945, Dachau on the 29th of April, Mauthausen on the 5th of May, as well as the smaller camps of Flossenburg and Dora-Mittelbau. American forces not only brought freedom to the survivors of Nazi horrors, but they also made sure that in its aftermath, the world would know what had happened. On the day of Dachau's liberation, Colonel William W. Quinn of the U.S. 7th Army told a reporter that here our troops found sights, sounds, stenches, horrible beyond belief, cruelty so enormous as to be incomprehensible. In the days after Allied forces captured these first concentration camps, General Eisenhower, General Patton, and General Bradley themselves inspected the camp. They learned that the atrocities that had occurred there, they were, in Eisenhower's words, atrocities beyond the American mind to comprehend. Eisenhower ordered every American soldier in the area who was not on duty to take the time to tour these camps so that they could themselves see what they were fighting against and why they were fighting. These soldiers became not only liberators but witnesses. He also ordered that all German civilians living near these camps be forced to tour and clean the camps after liberation, forcing them to confront the savagery committed in their names and by their countrymen. But the commitment of our armed forces to the survivors of Nazi atrocities did not end with liberation. In the aftermath of the war, we cared for the survivors, and we helped reunite families. And though we know what good was done and that lives were saved, we must always remember that more than 6 million Jews perished under Hitler's cruel reign. That's a burden that all of us must carry, not just the generation of World War II, but every generation must fight anti-Semitism, racism, and the victimization of religious minorities, with anti-Semitic terrorism openly showing its face this past month in Europe, and Christian and Jewish religious minorities being purged and murdered throughout the Middle East, even as we sit here today. It is clear that the great evil acted on by Hitler is with us still. We must always fight it. We must never give it harbor. That is why we boldly say, together, never again.